Welcome to the Nightly News with Edwards and Ray.
Good morning, I'm Edwards.
And I'm Ray, and today we're going to be looking at GSTA, cliques, parent-teen relationships, eating decisions, and teen health.
First up is a look at the Gay Straight Transgender Alliance that is here at Poland Regional High School.
Yes, there is an organization called the GSTA which provides a forum for students who are struggling with their sexuality and for those who would like to learn how to support their classmates.
The GSTA is an organization here at the high school that was started several years ago with a different advisor and has come back full strength this year. And I truly appreciate the work that the GSTA does to support all members of the community.
That it is a club for people of all different sexualities so they can show how they feel.
Well, I think the GSTA is doing a terrific job so far with its posters and its flyers, advertising its meetings. I would like to see in the future more events sponsored by the GSTA and maybe a higher profile at lunch and at school events. I think that would probably get the word out even more. Well, I think that the people in the GSTA are not necessarily of one sexual orientation, preference, or identity in particular. Instead, I see the people in the GSTA as those who are concerned about generating respect for all people, regardless of their sexual preference, orientation, or identity.
Being supportive can take many forms.
Stop having everybody be mean to people that are they're gay and they're not straight. Stop because they're different.
I would probably confront them and say that they need to start being nicer to people. Just because they're different doesn't mean you should hate on people.
I feel horrible because people shouldn't be getting judged on who they like and what they want.
I'm not a fan of people judging others for any reason. So I think I would probably try to put a stop to it if I saw it happening.
If the judgment comes out as harassment or as ignorance or cruelty, if it comes out as a negative, then I will treat it as I would any other case of harassment or bullying or inappropriate behavior or hate speech even. And I will pursue it aggressively, and I will attempt to resolve the situation by not only taking care of the needs of the person who was harassed, but also to educate and bring along the person who did the harassment.
However, the view of people being bisexual and transgender has changed over time.
Back in the day, it used to be unacceptable for somebody to come out. And now it's more and more accepted, and more people are confident in coming out.
I think it's ignorance. I think it's confusion and misperception about an individual's sexual preference, orientation, or identity. I think that there may be some influences outside of school that individuals who are confused or angry might see as priorities.
People are afraid of things that they don't know.
I see people as people, and I think that all people deserve to be respected and measured for the content of their character.
Want to talk, and being kind to others is always a good solution.
If you're asking me personally how I can help someone, I think that it all begins with a conversation, and it begins with a safe place to talk and a safe place to share what are undoubtedly some very personal feelings. I am not qualified as a therapist or a counselor, so I don't think I'm the ideal person to help with someone's deeper concerns. I think that I am someone who can be supportive and who can make sure that all people feel comfortable in the school.
Trying to convince them to talk to someone that they trust and feel comfortable, talking about how they feel and what's going on so they can get more help.
Be supportive. Be friendly. Help them fit in if they're feeling like they're not.
But a lot of people have started to realize that they need to be nice to other people.
People should be who they want.
In fact, I believe that the priority we should be promoting here at school is mutual respect, is mutual support, and the ideal of a whole community.
GSTA is open to anyone and has the goal of helping to provide students with a safe and comfortable atmosphere. This is Nick Parker and reporting for WPRH.
Thanks, Nick, for that report.
Here is another story about an issue that impacted teens at school. Here is Lexi with more about the cliques.
At Poland Regional High School, cliques are defined with many labels.
Cliques. To me, a clique is like a big group of friends that everyone gets along, and people like on the outside feel like they're a big group, like no one like can't be taken in by that group, but really it's just like a tight group of friends that are just all.
You see, I think cliques have a major role in schools. They're mostly a group of jocks, nerds, anything like that, geeks. That's what they are.
How can cliques?
Cliques can define people by the activities that they participate in and the type of people, personality types in the cliques. Usually, if you're not in a clique, you have some sort of idea of what you think that clique is about. So there's like jocks, nerds, music geeks, I don't know.
However, cliques at Poland are known to cause drama and hurt people.
They start stupid drama. I wish it didn't happen because it's dumb, but hey, what are you going to do?
How can
I don't think that cliques are necessarily all negative. I think that cliques give people a group where they feel like they belong and where they can be themselves, but I do think cliques can cause drama.
I think like the people on the outside cause more drama than like the people in the clique, because people feel like they're left out or they're not part of something, and I think that can cause drama within the clique because other people like feel bad and stuff.
I think cliques can hurt people because you know, if you're in a clique, you're really close with that group, and if you fight with one person, you kind of get the whole clique against you, and you can feel really alone, like you have nowhere to go. And also negative, false impressions of cliques can cause a bad meaning for yourself that might not be true.
I think just like feeling like you're constantly left out, or like when people in your clique, like someone, like the bigger the clique, the more drama that happens. So like when more people want to, like part of your group, your clique wants to do something, and the other part doesn't, like that's what causes drama.
Thank you, Morgan. The cliques at Poland have affected people in different ways.
I think that cliques have not affected my life as much as in other schools. I think at Poland, you have your main friend group, but I think that people are involved in a lot of different things at Poland, so they can jump from clique to clique and belong in each one and feel.
How can
I think that cliques can get along with each other fine, but you know, I mean, there's a stereotypical cliques, and you know that might cause like popularity contests between the cliques, or like, no, you want to be with my group, not the other group. But I think also it can be a great way to interact with people and share different interests.
Lexi Grondin reporting out for WPRH.
Thanks, Lexi. I'm less concerned about cliques and more concerned about having a great relationship with my parent.
Here's Caleb with more on that issue.
Teenage problems and distractions can affect a family, and what can be done about it.
One of our jobs here in the office is to work with parents to make sure that their children, our students, are supported and are getting the resources and getting their needs met here in school. And a lot of that often has to do with what's going on at home. So when I or Ms. Matt or one of the counselors calls home and talks with parents, our conversations frequently discuss what routines are like at home. All of that is a reflection of the way that these children are being parented, their parents' priorities, their values, their willingness to work with the school.
Sometimes when I sit down at the dinner table, one of the rules we have in my own house is at the dinner table, absolutely no electronics, for example. TVs are off, phones are off, phones are not even at the table, because I want my children, for example, to interact with me and not the media, not their social media.
Now let's look at why teenagers have problems and what parents should do to try to help them.
Like any relationship, parents and their children, it's very similar. There's going to be growing pains, and we're going to agree and disagree on a lot of things.
I think the parents of kids of any age are always learning and always developing and always adjusting as they get to know their children better.
Teenagers are easily influenced by a lot more social media than it was when I was a teenager. If I had an issue with you when I was in school, you wouldn't know I had an issue with you until I came back the next day. And none of my friends would even know I had an issue with you. But nowadays, if I have an issue with someone, the whole world knows it because of social media. My parents only went to 6th grade, and they could barely read and write. But they knew the value of an education because every one of their children became educated.
I think communication's the key, like I said, just in very similar to any other relationship. So talking about parents communicating with their children why this or that, why they don't agree with what they did, or children communicating back, hey, I think I did this because these are the reasons why. A big part of that transition to becoming an adult is learning how to talk about your feelings and learning how to communicate.
There's this notion out there that parents are born and not made, and I don't subscribe to that. As both a teacher and administrator and parent myself, I know that parenting is a process of give and take.
This is Caleb Nottingham signing off.
Teens not only are concerned about issues with their parents, but about things that impact their friends like eating disorders. Here's Zach with more.
Eating disorders affect many people, not just the person with the disorder.
Well, most people often think of eating disorders as having to do with food, and it's actually a much more complicated and complex condition. Usually the approach is multifaceted. If someone has an eating disorder, the first thing they do is they want to stabilize that person medically. Counseling and psychological intervention, very important. Most of the time, this is tied to self-esteem issues and feelings of self-worth and a distortion of what's your body image.
Well, I think the first time would be looking at what they eat, especially during lunch, and a lot of weight loss, rapid weight loss.
Probably the number one cause is going to be self-esteem. And by that I mean a person doesn't think very highly of themselves because of what they see as their self-concept. How a person looks at themselves. If they only see their value in how they look and they don't like how they look, they're going to look to change that. I think most importantly is just be there for them. You probably can't get in the prevention stage other than making sure that when they're young, you praise them for what they're trying to do.
Remember, anyone can have an eating disorder. Zachary Roderick, reporting for WPRH.
Thanks, Zach. Eating disorders can also impact your health long term. Here's Tony with a story on how to better your health.
There are many ways athletes can stay healthy and have less injuries in high school.
There's different ways to look at it. A person can become stronger. A person can become faster. I think the most important thing an athlete can do would be to build self-confidence. When a person thinks negative thoughts, negative things happen. When a person thinks they can't do something, of course, they're not going to be able to do it. And if a person has a background full of negative thoughts, it affects their physical abilities tremendously. I kind of call it the ability to black out. Can you put away all the negative things in your life and figure out what you can do, focus on what you can and what you're going to accomplish, and just be single-minded with that? Because so many times kids are handicapped by the situation they're in and their upbringing, that regardless of how hard they work, they still won't allow themselves the ability to succeed.
Athletes should prevent injuries by preparing their body to do what they're expected to do. Stretching, training is very important. Taking practice seriously. That's when you're training your body to do what it's going to do when it comes time for the competitions. You need to make sure that you know what you're doing. That's another thing. If there's plays that you need to know what you're doing in that play, you should know what you're doing, because if you're doing the wrong thing, there's a good chance you're going to get hurt doing it. So taking practice seriously, preparing your body for what it's going to do. That's what you have to do. That's why, as coaches, that's why we practice, because we want you guys to prepare and train your body to do what it's going to do when we're at that event.
Athletes should prevent injuries by training the ways they're going to move, and then training beyond those ways. So I actually do a lot of injury prevention as part of my training that I perform and that I do for myself. So an athlete, when it comes to their training, has to make sure that they're strong enough to handle whatever's going to happen in the environment of their game. So if they're a track athlete, they really only have to run forwards and lean left and turn left, right? So they have to really be able to prepare for that. But if they're stretching out and reaching too far, run into hamstring injury.
Health is a big concern in teens high school wise. And I'm Anthony, reporting for WPRH.
Yeah, thanks, Tony, and that's it for our show.
We hope you have learned a little bit more about issues that impact our teenagers. I'm Edwards.
And I'm Ray. Have a great day.